Welcome to the DGTL Growth Podcast, where business leaders share real wins and the challenges behind them. I'm Suze Barnes. Today, I'm joined by Nat Rosasco, Principal and Creative Director of Olive Street Designs. Nat, welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon, Suze. Nice to be here.
Super. Tell us about Olive Street Designs, what you do there, and your vision for the company.
Sure, that's a big question. Olive Street Design has been around since 2005. Before that, I was working for private equity firms, and I would be inserted into companies to get them out of bankruptcies and do turnarounds, which was heavy stress and not a lot of fun, but it was great learning experiences because I can do all kinds of sales, marketing, operations, finance. One of the companies I was inserted into was at .com in 2003. And I was like, this internet thing really sounds good because all my previous background was with manufacturing, which is heavily intensive, high stress, lots of loans, just difficult, hard business. I like this .com thing. This might be the future. So while I was still working for the private equity firm, it's where kind of Olive Street Design evolved out of. And they said, boy, you know what? You really love marketing. You have a lot of companies that this company owned. And they said, you know what? We could put you on boards of the companies and to do the marketing. So that was the evolution where Olive Street Design started. So in 2005, I still worked private equity firm. But in 2010, I said, you know, I told my wife, and we had 2 kids in college, 2 just out of college. I said, how about we give this a go? And she goes, I hope this works because we have a lot of bills coming up. I had 8 clients and not a lot of billings and had to roll up my sleeves and work really hard to get where we're at today. It was very difficult. It was a lot of stress, but in the end, it was worth it. So that's where Olive Street evolved out of. And we still have no business development people. We still have no salespeople here. And we just hit 1,435 clients. And that was through blood, sweat, and tears, groveling, begging, a lot of different tactics, but it was all about personal relationships and networking, and if I give I do speaking at Northwestern University, which I
Yes.
hear you're partial to and been a part of.
Yes.
And at Notre Dame and the University of Michigan, I've gone and given workshops at all 3 of those in their graduate schools of business. And I tell them the one thing. I said, you want the big secret scoop here, the big secret? They said, what? I would wait for the end of the 2-hour workshop. I said, I'm going to give you the big reveal. And they said, all right, what is it? I said, answer the phone and answer your emails. They said, okay, what's the big tip? I said, answer the phone and answer your emails. Because we see in this business, most people don't do that. I have a lot of clients, 1 out of 4 said, how'd you pick us? They said, you know what? You answered my email first, or you called me back. So there's a lot of things that have changed in this business, the digital business, but most things have not. People want to talk to people. The advent of AI, which is one of the biggest fears I think most businesses have, especially what we're in, the human touch is still the most important thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did go to Northwestern, as you were alluding to, and it looks like you're wearing a Michigan-colored sweaters.
My son today came in and said, did you get that from Michigan, or does that just happen to be the colors? But someone for my birthday a few years ago, no, I went to Michigan. They just got this for me because they're Michigan colors. So
Nice. All right. Well, answering the phone and answering emails is a really great tip. I know I've gotten a client or 2 from that too. So yeah, definitely. What are you most excited about in digital marketing today?
what am I most excited about? What I was most nervous about for the last 2 or 3 years was AI and what it was going to do to the business. Can an AI spin up a website? Can AI spin up content? Do people need an agency? I got a tip from the software that we use is called Duda, and it's a fabulous software. We've been through a lot of things, and most of the sites we build now are with Duda. And One of the top people at Duda, Odette, very dear friend of mine, told me 2 years ago as I was nervous as they're spinning up AI to help build websites. I was like, are you going to put me out of business? And he said, you know what? You need to become a 360-degree marketing agency. Do everything. Do search engine optimization, do PR, do social media, do review software, content marketing, and email marketing. So what I'm excited about isn't, I don't think in the near future is going to be taking our business away, but we use it more and more every day. But they're just a tool in our toolkit to do things faster or better or simpler so we can pass savings on to clients who can do more with their dollars. So what I'm excited about is I think with AI, and I keep talking about AI because this is a thing that's off the lips of all of our 1,435 clients. What is going on with AI? And they're looking to us to have the answers to that. So I've actually gone back to school to learn more about this, and it's actually at Northwestern, taking the graduate school some AI classes. But it's to get ahead of this thing. And I think as we get ahead of this thing, people will come to us for answers. We're putting together, I was just met with our graphic designer an hour ago, and I said, put together this AI playbook. What do you need for AI? And the list of things, which I've gotten some from really smart people and different emails that I get and talking to people at Google, is these are the 20 things on your punch list you should have in the future. So I want
Mhm.
them to know we know this and we can help you get there. And other agencies may not be getting that far ahead. I know there's a few out there that are really trying to get ahead of it. And that's where the opportunity lies, is you need to stay fluid. You need to stay flexible. You need to keep learning. You need to keep seeing what's going on out there and keep yourself and then your clients ahead of that. So I'm excited about where this is going to go. We just partnered with a company that's a software company that's doing AI search visibility,
Mhm.
that for a fee per month, a very low one, is they're going to push you into Chat GPT, to Gemini, to Copilot. So when you start Googling, you start searching for people or Binging people, but mostly it's Google. When you
Yeah.
start doing that and you start to see that the AI words that come up, that they'll start showing up in there. So it's exciting that I think there's a new thing on the horizon here, and it's still exciting. We're also seeing kind of a backlash with people across the board. Everything you need is people are kind of pushing back against AI a little bit. Like, hey, this is scary what it can do. We need to step back here a little bit. This isn't the future, but this is something that we should use, be aware of, and use it in a very calculated way.
Mhm. Strategy before action.
Yes. Yes.
You mentioned your very impressive growth. You must have some. You mentioned lots of, blood, sweat, and tears. You must have some favorite wins and challenges behind them to share. Can you think of one that you'd like to share?
A win that we got a long time ago, and it's really when I first started, was
Hmm.
Harvard University. And Harvard was a client for 15 years. And that really propelled us when I had the 8 clients. We had a woman that worked at a software company that was trying to get started. And I not only just gave her the time of day, but helped her, talk to her. And I was one of the only people. Now her business exploded after that, but she remembered me
Hmm.
as the one agency that stood behind her at the beginning. Well, her college roommate ended up to be someone that was at Harvard and had to redo the Hasty Pudding website, which is the oldest private club in America, and got us hooked up with them. And we started talking together. And she said, well, this lady said, you're the people to go to. You gave her the time of day. And we got Harvard. They flew 4 of us out to Cambridge in a weekend. And then I had that win behind us and stayed with them. We did the marketing for them, graphic design for them, website for them. Very exciting. And to have Harvard as a client as one of your first 12 was a pretty big feather in our cap.
Yeah.
And just how it came about was just a series of events that as you're good to people, you talk to people, you respect people, you're empathetic toward people, that good things can come of it. And then you spread the word about it. And I told everyone in the world that I met, I'd go check out at the grocery store. And, Harvard's a client of mine. I didn't actually do that, but it was something I was very proud of and
Yeah.
helped propel us from, does this guy work out of his basement, or, is there a real company here? It gave us a lot of validity and credibility for a long time. Our latest win is the United Nations, and that came about because of all of the other things that have happened in the relationships that have grown, and we've built our third microsite for the United Nations, and it's exciting, and they do things. This was one for the oceans and taking care of the oceans, and not only was it just fun to work with the United Nations, I told them I wanted a business card or something with my name on there, with their logo, but it was also important. There's a lot of things
Yes.
that we do, there's a lot of websites that we do that they're great, they're functional, you need to do them. But then there's some that really, really impact you, and it impacts the world a little bit. And for us to be a
Hmm.
little part of that was really rewarding.
Yeah. Knowing you're making a difference.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. How many people do you have on your team if you're at 14, 35 clients?
12,
Ooh,
12, 18, no, 18.
okay.
And really, for the size agency that we are, for the revenue that we generate, 18 people isn't a lot. But again, our secret sauce is the Duda software that I mentioned. We're
Mhm.
able to spin up websites versus WordPress. A website that would take us about 30 hours in WordPress to make, we can do in 3 or 4 with Duda. So that's our secret sauce to help small businesses that, people last 5, 6, 7 years. No one's called me up and said, we just have an unlimited budget and we'd like to spend a lot of it with you. The conversations, no matter if it's a one person handyman firm to a tech firm that's doing $25 million in sales, the first sentence is, we don't have an unlimited budget and we're really restricted. But this software allows us to get whatever size business into business and give them something that looks like they spent $10 or $20,000 and they spent a lot less than that. And I think that's why our retention rate, we've got over 1,300 of our sites are with Duda, and they said out of all their agencies, we have one of the lowest churn rates that they've ever seen. So people stick with us. We don't overcharge. We charge what's reasonable. We're there to help small businesses. And because of that, they get pinged every day from other agencies. Hey, switch to us, and they stay with us mostly. So that's rewarding.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you have a strong relationship with the Duda people?
Yes, yes, yes. They've got, it might be over 20,000 agencies use it right now.
Hmm.
And 2014, I think, I had asked them that we're a big WordPress house. That's what we used. And we used the software. They had a mobile only version. It took websites from desktop to mobile, which no one had that back then. And we got on board with that in 2010. And I think 2013, 14, I called them and I asked, they're in San Jose. I said, could I come out and see you? They said, I don't know. We'll have to ask the owners. Nobody's ever asked us that. I said, well, I want to. And I got there and I was talking to their tech guys, their VP of marketing, Adam Ferris, who's still a very close friend of mine. And Itai Sedan, who was one of the co-founders, happened to be there in San Jose that day. And I said, oh, can I talk to him? They said, I don't know, I guess. And he overheard us. He came in and I kind of asked him a lot of the hard hitting questions. Now, he was probably 100 times the size of us,
Okay.
but I said, do you have financial stability? Are you going to be here in 5 years? And because if I was going to move my clients from the gold standard WordPress to Duda, I kind of needed to know that. He looked me in the eye, and the other guys around the table from Duda were cringing. They said, you know what? Now I know that you're serious about us. And thank you for asking that. And Itai and myself have been close friends for now over a decade, but we fly out to see them 3 to 4 times a year. They've opened an office in Louisville, Colorado now, and we go to see them. They don't pay us to go see them. We pay for ourselves to go out there, but we become very close and become very close friends with them. And we've shown them that we're committed to them, so they commit back to us pretty heavily too. So a lot of agencies said, they have webinars all the time, and I'm on more than a few of them. And people say, well, how do you get that? I say, you know what? I fly out there 3 times a year. I send them Lou Malnati's pizzas from Chicago to their office, and to show
Wow.
them that I respect the software and the people, and that we're friends. So I invest in the relationship, and they invest back in us.
What innovations are you looking forward to? You mentioned AI. Is that really the main one?
That's that's the big driver. And really, I was looking right before I got on the call here. I was looking through our AI visibility checklist, and it's the things that come with it. And it's almost that a lot of things that you've heard of through the years. You've heard of content is king, art really. That sounds cliche, but it wasn't. But now what we're learning is it's almost like every client we have, you could take a look at your website, and if you want to get ahead and stay ahead of people, you've got to go through this checklist. It's geo-targeting areas. And we've been building, we call them city pages for years. If you're in Chicago, we pick 10 towns around it and optimize for it. And that thing has come around to what AI is looking for, is that they want to know that you're geo-targeting areas. They want owners' videos on there. They want every team member to be on there. There's certain things like the must-haves, and I feel like it's the next revolution that you have. It's more content, it's more pages, because AI is reading it and going to return these things back. And what was solid for Google is kind of solid for AI, but AI has its own checklist. So it's like you can go back to everybody and say, here's where you need to be. Here's what's going. We need to do these 20 things, pick and choose which ones are important to you, and let's do that.
Mhm. I am hearing a lot of people talking about what they call it generative engine optimization or answer engine optimization. Do you think search people are searching differently and people are going to be using Google less?
Well, and that's what I've been talking about. And there's all different terms for it. Those are two of them.
Yeah.
And it's all in the same thing. When I'm talking the AI list, it's the generative optimization. It's the same thing. They said that people now for searches, there's 800 million people that are signed up to search this way. I read by 2027, 28 that AI searches will overtake the organic Google, Bing, Yahoo ones. Now it's put up by people that track this stuff, whether that happens or not, but you can't ignore it. It's a couple percent right now, but if it went to 20 or 30, they're saying more than that, but it changes everything. So you've got to be aware of it. And when I started this, people just used to have a website. You had to have a website. Didn't matter what it was. We used to have the yellow pages and the super page, or we'd be in print. Now we
Hmm.
think we need a website. And then you want to have a website. You had to have a nice looking website. And, now the next frontier is you have to have all these pieces that will appeal to the new types of searches that are going out there. And that's why the software company that we're using that starts optimizing for the AI search bots is really key. And again, it's not a lot of money, but to put yourself in there now, it's important. You move from regular, then you had to have SEO. Well, now you have to have this. So that's the next frontier, and that's going to happen. And we put chat bots on websites, AI chat bots, which are amazing. Probably 20% of our clients have them. 100 should have them, because what we're hearing in a couple of years is every website's going to have it. So we want to position our customers, our clients ahead on that. And we used to have a chat bot that just got your name and email and said, hey, we'll get back to you. Now we have one that's AI driven, and it learns from your website. You submit the sitemap to it, and it just doesn't answer a question. It'll link you to the exact page on your website to go there. It's like a sales and marketing tool, and
Hmm.
that's exciting.
Yeah. How has AI impacted your business or growth?
It's made it easier for us to the hardest thing in the world, there are 2 things, is one, to find someone's GoDaddy or Network Solutions login so you can get their website live. Everybody loses that. That's like 99% of people don't have that. And the biggest blocker to getting a website set up, no one has that. After that, it's content. And, you ask people and say, "We'll do a new website." I said, "Do we have to write anything? Do we have to do anything?" And we have, well, 2 of my daughters work here, and they're both English teachers, one at the university level. So we'd have to come up with content. Well, content for a 10-page website, we'd have to build in 5 to 8 hours in that to come up with the content, and which drives the price higher. Well, now we can spin it up in ChatGPT and Gemini and spin it up and then have our English teachers look at it. So what was maybe a 7-hour lift now just becomes an hour lift. And when somebody comes to us, we say, "Yeah, we can get your website going and you don't have to write a word like, okay, where do I sign?" So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And, people say, "Well, it's not good." It's getting better every week, we're seeing. And if we have competent writers to tweak that, but it's, again, the heavy lift part comes out, and then we can just edit instead of write from scratch. So that's been a big deal. That's been great, and it helps us to sign on. A lot of small businesses, they don't know what to write. They have no idea. They're an HVAC company. They do heating and air conditioning. They don't know what pages they should have. And I think that's what my son Jimmy and I were very good at telling a client, these are the pages you need, because they don't know. And they say, "We
Hmm.
want less pages." We're like, "No, you need more pages." Well, we didn't know that. And we can spin up the content for those pages for you. And they're like, "All right, this sounds good." So we help them, and we become really their outsourced marketing department.
What's been challenging or frustrating for you in business recently?
It's been frustrating. Um, I think what's sad is a lot of companies have had a hard time in the last year or two, and that $50 a month means a lot to somebody. And, people are trying to make their money go further because the world isn't getting easier for them. All the expenses are going up, including ours, and we're very cognizant of that. Like, we should charge more, but we don't, because we know businesses may not have that money. So that's why the AI helps us to streamline our costs. But that's the biggest thing, is you talk to people and it's just hard. Business hasn't been like, "Whoa, that's great." The stock market's going great and it's going good, but every individual business has got their own set of issues, problems. We try to help them through that by lowering prices or give them edges over their competitors, because business overall is just hard. You're a restaurant, you're a garage door company, whoever you are, business isn't simple anymore. There's more people, websites. People can go and put up an AI website in a day. It may not look good or perform like it is, but there's just more competitors for almost every client we have. So we try
Hmm.
to make sure we can position ours ahead of those, but it's hard. It's just, you got to be cognizant of it and know that you're not going to make a lot of money, but you make a fair amount, charge a fair amount, and hopefully get these people moving in the right direction for a reasonable amount of money, and they're happier, and down the road, continue to do more and more with you.
Sounds like they also prefer you more business.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Which metrics do you focus on for your own business first and then for your clients?
We look at churn to make sure we keep our valued clients. And the other thing we look at is when our friend Oded had told us, to become a 360-degree marketing agency, we dove deep into search engine optimization. We dove deep into listings and citations. We dove deep into review software and set up really some fabulous relationships with different software vendors that are out there. And we're looking to grow that part of the business. Because for me, it's hard to keep selling new websites to people. There's a couple of our team that do that. But if we can take 1,400 people and give them add-on services, so that's what we're tracking hard. And that's something that we've done a lot of spreadsheets on, is to make sure we see the growth in the other services. So that's what we look at. So we look to make sure, are we not losing any clients? Good, check that box. And then look at the other services and make sure that we have services that people want and need. And we do a lot of research on this before we offer something. We added listings and citations last year. We had it on our own site for 4 months to make sure it worked. And we need to know it works and have it proven out that it works with ourselves until we go on to other people. And I think that's what a lot of our clients respect about us is we don't offer things that aren't going to work, that we haven't tried on ourselves. And they know when we call them, tell them this is something you should probably have. They listen to it.
Where do you want to be with Olive Street Design in 6 to 12 months?
Not working 70 hours a week. Well, two of my kids are in the business and they're really starting to take over a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But where I want to be is to take these other items that we do and to get that to be a bigger percent of our business.
Mm-hmm.
I look at growth of an overall 10%, which would be fabulous. And if it could be the right 10%, that's what we're looking at. We're just looking right now. We just hired on a new senior graphic designer that's been with companies much bigger than ours, and the way that she works is fabulous. So we want to grow graphic design work. All of our clients need business cards, they need logos, brand refreshes,
Mm-hmm.
postcards, flyers, and to grow that part of the business. So it's to take, which we've been really driven by websites and monthlies with that, and grow around that. So that's where I'd like to be. I'd like to be 10% bigger. I'd like to do it with the 18 people that we have and be in a stronger position. And then my 70 hours goes to 50.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. If you could solve one major challenge today, what would it be?
Can't ask any little incremental questions, do you, Suze? It's how to get the messaging out to more of our clients for a lot of things that we're going to be coming up with the 2026 and do it easier and more effectively. It's a lot of this is me going client by client. Now, when I talk to a client and we get a new product, the AI visibility product, we have it. I've talked to 17 people. 17 people said yes. Well, there's 1,400 more. How do I solve that? How do we solve that? We've sent out blast emails. That doesn't work. It's almost like you need that personal touch. So we're trying to figure out how we scale these new products and get these fabulous things out without having a business development department, having a sales department. So we're working on that right now. That's the big one.
Sounds like you almost need like a master class or something for groups of clients, but would that even make sense? I'm not sure.
Yes, we're looking at that too. So yes, we're going to be doing some videos and trialing that too. So
Excellent. Yes.
yeah.
Video is super good for that kind of thing. But always the personal connection first, and then
Right.
whatever else you need second.
Yeah.
Who would be a dream client for you now that you've had so many that have been more than you expected? It seems like.
We've had so many good ones. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we really at the city of Chicago as a client. I mean,
Oh.
we love that, and we've got like 15 to 20 marquee clients that are really unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
We're really built on small to medium sized businesses. So I would say instead of an ideal client that would really be cool is we love the restaurant vertical
Mm-hmm.
and we like
Mm-hmm.
that. We have another website called Delicious Marketing Experts that my daughter Lindsay she's just gifted at doing restaurant websites. They're phenomenal. And And I would say where I'd want to be 12 months from now. And if I had a dream vertical, it's restaurants, and we probably have 30 of them. I'd like that to be 100. We're really good at it. We can really help them, and they're just fun to do because there's food pictures on there. And I'm
Yes,
not going to
everybody
lie.
loves.
Yeah. And if we could go really and just say, as long as there's a pizza on it or a hamburger, we'd be happier.
Great. I learned recently that ketchup is a no-no on hot dogs in Chicago.
And
Is that
it
still the
is,
case?
I mean, if you're at a ball game and you put ketchup on there, you really you get a lot of dirty looks. And I kind of put ketchup and mustard on them, and I get those side glances of sneering. Yeah, that is a Chicago hot dog thing, but I still like ketchup.
Finally, predictions for 2026. What do you think it will look like for marketing agencies, advertising agencies?
I think the people that lean into what's going on and can stay fluid are going to do really well. And I think it'll be really tough for a lot of fringe agencies. And I don't put them down at all, but there's people that get into it that don't have the bandwidth to stay ahead, don't have the willpower to stay ahead. And I think that a lot of people will struggle to stay in business.
Hmm.
So I think it's going to be a watershed year for the people that really understand where things are going and react quickly to it. I think that's what's going to go on. I think there'll be fallout. Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you ever listen to podcasts yourself?
Not many.
Okay. I was going to ask you for a favorite one, but
What? No, no. So you're not going to get that from. Yeah, it's the Suze Barnes podcast.
that's right.
Now that
That's
we're
an
here, you're it.
excellent answer. Perfect. What about a favorite AI tool for you?
Favorite AI tool? Gosh, it sounds like a commercial for Duda, and it's not. They've integrated a whole suite of tools in their software, so we don't have to go outside of it as an agency. That would be it. And
Hmm.
there's a search engine optimization software that we use. It's called Hike, and they're out of the UK. And as an agency, it's just fabulous to use. The AI does the heavy lift. So those are the two that are rocking our world right now.
Super. Thank you so much. Well, Nat, it's been a pleasure getting to know more about your business, and thanks for sharing so many of your insights and successes and wins.
And trials and tribulations.
Yes, and trials and tribulations. I really hope you do get to, your only 50 hours a week or less.
Yeah, yeah.
And, many more clients using your newer tools. Would you like to share a little about how people can get a hold of you or reach out to you, contact you?
I'm very available to people. It's Nat at Olive Street Design, or you can go to Olive Street Design and fill out the form, or you can go to Olive Street Design and use the cool AI chatbot, and I'll get back to you right away.
There you go. Excellent.